James Twin for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. Coming off a loss, but this is a very difficult first title defense for Rayo Valenzuela. Some people would say, why is Gary Antuanne getting a title shot coming off a loss? But it's a good-ass fight. And again, like Puello and Martin, it's actually 50-50 at the books.
Okay. And this to me is a harder fight to pick. In my opinion, I think it's a harder fight to pick because they're both.
This might be the fight of the night.
I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah.
It's guaranteed. It's going to be guaranteed fireworks because both fighters are very dynamic punchers. They're just different in the way they go about it. Like Gary Antuanne Russell has the speed that his brother had, and
on the inside.
On the inside, but if you look at like his career to this point, he's only had one knockout after the 6th round, which was the Victor Postal fight, and that stoppage was a bit questionable. So
30 seconds left in the fight. A little bit of let's keep this kid's KO percentage at 100. Yeah.
So you could honestly say that it's not out of the question to say that Gary Antuanne Russell really doesn't have any knockouts after the 6th round. If you want to really bang that drum, Rayo to me is the bigger one punch fighter between the pair of them. But his defense, to use one of your words from last week, it could be a bit porous at times. When he fought Edmund De Los Santos, you saw him getting lit up down the middle. And Sean, this fight is interesting. It's very intriguing to me because I think Rayo has to actually exercise some of those demons from the Edwin De Los Santos fight, because this is the most, like, as far as attributes and style, obviously it's not the same, but it's the closest thing he's fought to Edwin De Los Santos since Edwin De Los Santos. When he fought Pitbull Cruz, he won the fight outboxing him. But Pitbull comes to you. He's shorter. He has a significant reach advantage. This is a much different type of fight. So I'm really intrigued to see how it goes. What kind of exchanges we get.
Yeah, and we'll get your pick before the end. And now I'll pontificate too. But I got this is a tougher fight than Pitbull because Gary Antuanne's bigger and applies a lot of pressure too. And he's not as explosive as Pitbull, winging a hook from an outside. Pitbull's explosive. That's why he could throw a hook from too far out and sometimes get you because he can spring up with that explosiveness. Gary Antuanne, though, has exquisite hand speed and can put punches together if he gets on the inside.
Yeah.
And one problem for him in this fight is he's not rangy. And Rayo, when he outboxed Cruz, showed us that versatility.
Yeah.
He got knocked out by De Los Santos trying to be with Jose Benavidez and Team Benavidez a puncher. And he got, like you said, he has to exercise some demons from that because I don't think he'll be able to just outbox Gary Antuanne the way he did Pitbull. For example, to your point about Pitbull having that reach disadvantage and all that against Rayo, Gio Cabrera, who's not the best, not the best world beater, he made Pitbull fall short a lot just by being a naturally bigger man and keeping the fight in the center of the ring and turning Pitbull. So a lesser fighter than Rayo wasn't able to come really close to winning, but he was able to make Pitbull fall short all night as well. So against a guy with longer arms and a guy with a more diverse punch selection in Gary Antuanne, he may have to reach into both bags, into what he was at lightweight, being more of a puncher, and reach into what he did against Cruz and put it all together against Gary Antuanne. Gary Antuanne, man, he beat Richardson Hitchens 3 times and Boots Ennis 3 times in the amateurs. Both of them are now IBF champions.
He's a top talent.
Yeah. It feels like you got something to add. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got quite a lot to add, actually. So with Rayo, what I've noticed in his fights is he struggles, obviously. Like, his defense can be a bit porous at times, but I think Rayo actually struggles with volume, because if you look at the first Chris Colbert fight, the one that everybody said was controversial and whatnot, and he lost that fight. If you look at why that fight continued, because that's what people need to focus on. Why was Chris Colbert, little old Chris Colbert from 130, able to stand there with a big time punch like Rayo Valenzuela? And it was just simply because Colbert was busy and he got on the inside and he went to the body enough times to take enough gas out the tank to take some steam off those punches. And Gary Antuanne Russell is definitely capable of doing that. He showed in the Puello fight that he can do that in spots. And Rayo Valenzuela is not Puello as far as from the outside. And on the Rayo side of things, I think Rayo still hasn't even fought his best fight yet. I think he has a lot of attributes that he hasn't quite put together. Like we know
That's
he's
what I'm
a
getting at. He's gonna have to put it all together against this guy, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We know he's a big time puncher. And then he's also shown at times he can even use some angles like with his legs and pivoting and things like that. He's gonna need to put all that together in this fight because to me, if he doesn't do that, he's gonna get lit up. He's going to 1,000% get lit up in this fight. The only thing that I think may be able to save him if he doesn't put it all together is the fact that I think Gary Antuanne Russell might be a little bit of a front runner because his power is not carrying into them later rounds you would expect. But
Not a
that's
front
make
runner. I don't see a front runner in terms of gumption because
no
he
no
never stopped coming after Puello. It wasn't, you know what I mean? He didn't get gun shy. He didn't get
yeah
timid. Right.
yeah I like the way you said it like gumption wise he's not a front runner but I'm talking about in terms of like
Punching
that
power.
punching power that power carrying over to the 10th the 11th the 12th round things like that so if I gotta make my prediction I got Gary Antuanne Russell winning this fight. I think I don't know if we'll stop him, but I just think he'll exploit the Rayo lack of defense, and I think too. I think Rayo I just think defensively Rayo leaves too much to be desired, and Gary will outwork him.
That's always been my critique of Rayo Valenzuela too. Very leaky defense. But here's the thing, it tightened up against Pitbull. The question we'll find out in this fight, how much of that was it really did tighten up and how much of that was, Pitbull's 5'4", fighting at 140 and against a guy like Gary Antuanne, who's really a bigger junior welterweight with hand speed on the inside and all that, good punch selection. How's that defense hold up this time?
Yeah,
And, both guys like what was I going to say? Both guys got a lot to fight for. Gary Antuanne, you don't want to lose twice in a row, getting a bite at the apple. You're in no man's land. You're way back to square one if you lose this fight. Rayo could afford a loss more than Gary Antuanne, but Rayo has huge, huge opportunities in front of him. If he could, bigger opportunities than Gary Antuanne. If Rayo wins this fight, he gets to upgrade to the big money guys. He gets to upgrade to the Devin Haney, the Ryan
yeah,
Garcia, Tio, all those guys, because he's a good-looking kid. He's a good-looking kid. That's marketability. Good-looking Mexican kid who's got power, who could box. If he can get past Gary Antuanne Russell, he's got huge money and huge fights in front of him in a way that Gary Antuanne probably doesn't right away if he can pull this win off. And yeah, it's so, and Rayo would explain the reason why his defense tightened up so better is he stopped trying to be a puncher, stopped trying to be a Benavidez, and he got back to his normal style. What he said, the style he came up with as a boxer, back with Robert Garcia. This is going to be the test of that. And I give him the edge because Gary Antuanne hasn't shown us that he's rangy. Rayo, with all that leaky defense, though, has shown us he could be a puncher in the pocket or he could be a boxer more on the back foot. And Gary, we're talking about how leaky Rayo's defense has been in the past. Gary Antuanne, his head stays on the line a lot. And the best pressure fighters, they can move, or Canelo out of the high guard, constantly shift his weight, Sean Porter, in and out, moving his head. Gary Antuanne, for all that hand speed and punch selection, once he gets where he wants to get in close,
it's right
that
on the
head
center line.
stays on the line. And like you said,
Yeah.
Rayo has a little bit more thump, especially if he can get extension, punch for punch. I'll give the edge to Valenzuela if he gets past Gary Antuanne. He's got huge stuff in front of him, but it's very close to 50-50 in my mind. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Gary Antuanne tears it up, but I got Rayo.
If one of these guys gets overly aggressive, I think this fight will end in 6 rounds or less.
I don't see that happening.
If it depends on how aggressive one of them gets. Like if they feel each other out for a couple rounds, like 3 rounds, 2-3 rounds, okay, then it'll go. But I'm saying like if one of them really comes forward, I think it could end really early.
I got a lot of respect for whoever wins this one because I think Rayo's only number 10 by the ring, despite being a world champion, and Gary Antuanne's not even in the top 10. I think these guys are two very legit world caliber super lightweights, and I give credit to whoever comes out on top, man. Gary Antuanne talked about he's got more stuff in his bag that he's gonna bring out. He said he didn't for Puello. He said he didn't bring out all the flash because he didn't think he'd need it. Let's see, man. He was an amazing talent in the amateurs and jumped off the screen at times on the come up. So we'll see if your pick is right.
Yeah, we'll see. I like that we're picking opposite this one.
Yeah, someone gets to be smart.
Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here. Keep watching my boy BT put on the best interviews out here.